Hey everyone! Happy Wednesday, hello, hello.
Hello?
It's Wednesday.
Hang on.
Oh, I also gotta set you guys to be broadcast. There we go.
No intro today.
Nope.
Perfect.
We have a little bit of time to let people
Also
come on
gotta
in.
set myself to busy, otherwise I'll get sound notifications. There we go. Oh look, they just sent me something. It's Ryuvi.
Oh my god.
Looking good,
Yes,
Ryuvi.
it's me.
Looking good. There's your twin brother. There you go.
I haven't actually
Thank
seen this in
you
person yet.
for that sloppy McFloppy.
There's two of
There you
these.
go. Let's put my sub in. There we go.
I'm not that tall.
It looks, yeah.
And
It's
yes,
cute.
I am very small.
Ryuvi is incredible, as well as with Aegis and Wraith, all wonderful individuals. Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent says, Ryuvi, we are sorry.
It's fine. It's cool.
Okay.
Is it really?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Yes.
So why don't we introduce as to what exactly is happening for this stream?
There we go.
Talk.
That's better. I lost audio for a moment then.
Previously, we were working on covering, well, avatars and like how you bring them into Neos, how you set them up with the different types of features within Neos. And now we're kind of like continuing it and kind of closing off that topic on finding some more like advanced features and the limitations that Neos has in regards of like avatars at the moment, and common issues that we can cover that people will most likely have while creating, tweaking, or importing an avatar into Neos.
Of course, you'll be able to ask questions and such in regards to and more advanced avatar questions as well while we are going through it.
Oh, hey, we're on the wrong overlay next.
Oh no, I wanted to use this one, just so that it's
Okay.
more clear for people to like actually see. I'm probably thinking of using that overlay, so that it isn't having the giant follow bar for when people are wanting to learn for the tutorial.
Okay.
Yeah.
I bet I do.
Well, that was the idea of me doing the Workshop Wednesday overlay eventually, was to have the Workshop Wednesdays logo up there.
Oh well, then when that comes through, then we'll put that one up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kyowa says it looks more clean that way. Yep. Also,
Yeah,
Excellent
this is
says they
actually-
prefer
Very clean.
This is actually the overlay that we use for, what is it?
the
The
recap streams, but we haven't
yeah,
been
the-
able to really do one of those in quite a while.
Yeah. Hi, Ryuvi. You're looking
Why
a
does
bit,
the fake? Why does the fake
looking a bit
Ryuvi get more
unwell
love
today.
than actual Ryuvi? No.
You're looking a bit blue.
Just gonna hide now.
You're looking a bit blue, Ryuvi, today. We're gonna have to fatten you up
It's okay,
again.
Ryuvi. Go and take a break. You're fine. You don't even have to do the stream because we got
Okay.
this Ryuvi. You're good.
Okay.
I want this. Yeah, this Ryuvi can come join me down in director's booth then for cuddles.
I wish. Okay, but I guess we can get started.
Using that Twitch Prime for S6, Linka. Yeah, so you guys can get started. Thank you everyone who's joined us right now for the stream, and they are going to be teaching for part 2 for the avatars. And is there going to be a covering as to what you guys are going to go through?
Yes. We are going, oh, there he goes. We're going to be going over, as I just had said prior as well, a few limitations for Neos' avatars and some common issues that people have that we can address. And of course, if we miss something for whatever reason, or you want to bring up your own questions, feel free to ask and we'll answer them or demonstrate how something can work and how to fix something if we can.
Yep. And honestly, I think we covered a lot more than we thought we were going to cover last time, so probably going to be more consistent of questions that people will have with avatars and answering them as best as we can. And probably other things here and there too. if appropriate. So
All right. Well, let's go ahead
Sounds
and
good. Thank
head
you,
out
Delta, for the
behind
Twitch
this
Prime as
desk.
well.
So, our first topic that I think we'd want to cover is the fact that there are really no hard-defined asset limits for avatars in EOS, in that you can have a lot of meshes, you can have materials, you can have textures and fonts, all sorts of different assets. There is no, oh, you can only have 2 materials per model, or, oh, you can only have up to 3 meshes on your avatar. You can have as much as you like. But of course, with that in mind, there's always a performance cost to everything. So don't go, personally, my advice would be not to spawn in an avatar that has, 5,000 materials on it. That's not going to bode well for anybody. But in terms of actual hard asset limits, there are none in Neos. Do you have anything to add to that, Aegis?
there's multiple different ways of optimizing an avatar model, either in or outside of Neos as well.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it be baking it together by using the glue tip, whether it be going into Blender, retopologizing a high poly model, or baking things into like textures, and whether it's, say, depending on like what material flow. It's also, limited to the artist's, the style. If you're going for a certain style, sometimes if it's more realistic, you might need more asset power or asset budget.
Yeah. And in terms of, I think where we can find some assets, I'm glad you pulled this in, because we can see here that this mesh that you have here that you've baked together has 3 separate materials, and 1 mesh. Now, if you look at that material list and it has way more than you think it needs, then maybe it's a good idea to reduce that. And I think generally the flow for assets is less is more. The more you can condense things into less assets, the better it'll run and the more optimized it will be, and people will like that. But, as Aegis said, if you need more realism or performance is not necessarily of too much concern for the thing that you're working on, go for it. Nails will handle it. I think that covers...
I like excellent. Link has comment in chat there. Says the walking fur shader.
Yes, I know I'm a walking fur shader. But Fluffy, you can't go wrong with that. Now what about... We have a lot of folks, I think, who want to import Unity packages from other platforms. What's the limit on that, would you say?
So right now, importing files, it's mainly the raw assets themselves, whether it be like models, textures, audio files, videos, fonts, you name it. When it comes to Unity packages, it's all bundled up in a package made specifically for the Unity engine, game engine. Now what it does, it actually uses that for a scene in Unity. Now, Neos does use Unity for its rendering, but not for its like asset level or under the hood, pretty much. And it uses a different system. So pretty much there's a way to take those assets within a Unity package by going into Unity, opening it up, and extracting and exporting those files from a Unity package, whether it be like the model file, the textures, and like sound effects or other kinds of assets that you can import into Neos. You'll be able to take those and use those raw assets in here rather than a Unity package, which will not work for directly importing it. If you import a Unity package, it will just show up as like the raw file. So I can like bring in a Unity package, or actually any file. For example, I'll just bring in an image here. Copy.
There is
and
also a Unity
paste.
package extractor that you can get externally if you want to extract the files from these Unity packages so that you don't
that's
have
an
to open it
image.
directly in Unity. But that is
file. There
up
we
to
go.
your own research to discover. There. So that's what.
Yep.
Wait. Oh, that's a JPEG.
Yeah, just in general, when a file, any kind of file that you import, in this case it's a JPEG, but this is what happens when you import a file that Neos does not recognize. It'll just turn into like a little file folder or file object. It has the actual file information in it. Now, in this case, it's an image. I can import an image, and there's an option to import it as like a raw file like this. So, I can literally share files like that. So,
And I can
I have
export
the
it.
interior of a car.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
You can also save these to your inventory too if you would like to use your inventory as file storage in that regards.
Mm-hmm. Now,
Okay.
the next topic in regards of importing that is really good to point out is blend files. So, whenever you import blend files, Neos actually uses Blender to import the blend file. So actually, I might as well just import the car that model is being made from. Actually, is that it? No, that's the old one. There we go. There we go. All right. So, when you import a blend file, it'll also say that it recognizes it as a 3D model. But Neos also requires you to have Blender installed for it to work. Now, the reason why it actually uses your Blender if you have it installed in a normal location. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. If you do, if it does have a system for that without Blender, unless if it's not implemented yet.
So
Blender must be installed, or it must be within the tools folder, within the Neos VR folder.
Okay.
yes, in regards to importing a blend file, what that actually does is it uses Blender to export it as FBX and then imports that. It just saves you a step from having to export the file. But you need to have Blender installed in its location, or you need Blender to be located within the Neos directory to do that. Yes, we do have some comments from chat saying it will try to unpack the blend file, but depending on what you're working on, you're sometimes better off just exporting as an FBX manually and going from there.
Or
But for
GLTF.
convenience. Yeah, or GLTF. FBX, GLTF, OBJ, we support a handful of object formats.
Yep.
Emerald is asking, can I have that?
The car?
The car.
It's not
Yeah,
done yet.
Let me finish it.
That's why that doesn't even have a door on the other side.
Maybe we don't need doors where we're going.
I would need a DeLorean to make that joke.
Regarding file formats, Kuro asks, is
I'll
STL
just leave it in here
supported?
for now.
I believe STL is supported. Could be wrong.
Actually, let's see if I can find an STL. Or actually, you know, I'll
Yeah.
export the car as STL. Why the hell not? Export, let's see here, STL.
You would
So if you have
download
like
a car.
a cat... I made this car. No, I didn't. I downloaded the pictures though, but for reference. Yeah. See here, where did the STO go? There we go. That should be it. So if you have a CAD model, this is pretty good to see like models you have. Well, we're gonna 3D print. Boom. STL.
So, yes.
Actually, yeah.
We support STL. So we have a
Interesting.
question from Coffee Shop VR. Can you import Unreal Engine 4 files like Unity packages? Not directly. As we had mentioned,
yeah.
you can import, you can get the raw files from the Unity package from Unity or using a Unity package extractor, and then we can Neos can support the raw files like the JPEG and PNGs for textures, targas, and all the model and other formats that we support.
Yeah, Neos uses Unity for its rendering, not for its scene building and world and all that. Yeah, so Unreal would not work unless if you extracted the raw files, say like the models, textures, sound effects, assets like that. So same would be if it was CryEngine or any other kind of game engine out there. Probably Godot as well.
Generally, the rule of thumb with importing things to Neos is as long as you have the raw model, texture, and other assets available to you, like if the model is a .fbx, GLTF, GLB, etc., Neos can support it, and that will work. Okay, is there anything else we wanted to cover in terms of importing, specifically with Blender? I don't use Blender import personally too much, since I guess I've just gotten myself into the habit of exporting as FBX, but for those of you who want convenience, that's an option. Let's see.
Some reason chat is not loading for me. I see the number count. But
We have another question from Coffee Shop VR again. What's the draw call target for scenes in Neos? There is no limit. It's as much
What
as your
draw
computer
call
can
limit?
handle. If you want to, if you want to tax your computer as much as you want, go for it. Just, I recommend being cognizant of the other people's wants for performance of some kind. I don't think we want to be using Neos at 1 frame a second.
I think the best way of describing like how Neos deals with like, scenes or worlds in general, how they're hosted, it's up to like the world host. Say like a Minecraft server, somebody can go in and lag a server with a huge amount of TNT, but you can limit people to say, hey, if you do that, you're kicked, or, if you grief, or if you use something extremely power heavy, say in Gmod as well, if you spawn something that's extremely heavy in there too. Yeah, it's a matter of like user control. That's what we put in there. Reason why there isn't any limits is that people if they have, say, like models with extremely dense geometry, say like a 3D scan or a CAD model, they can use it for visualization. Say, for example, you're working on an engine and you want to see the internals of it in VR, or a geological 3D scan of like a archaeological site. That'd be pretty neat, though. Actually, I think somebody did import one of those a while ago.
Pretty interesting to see. Okay. Well, those are really the major limitations for avatar imports, and really generally anything. This applies more to just avatars, but for avatars in specific, since this is the topic we're on, there are no real limits, aside from the fact that your performance and the power of your own computer is really your limit. But for the sake of people in public, don't try and push it, I say. We don't directly support Unity packages, but there are external means of extracting the files, and once you have the raw files for things, you can import those into Neos. And Neos supports direct.blend file importing if you have Blender in the default install directory, or you've moved it to the Neos install folder.
Now, the next topic that we can cover for today is common issues that people have ran into when creating their avatar, setting it up, or even tweaking them. First main one that I've seen for, a few years now, is that when avatars are imported, some of them have their flips inverted compared to when they were normally like right set up to fix.
For the hip in specific.
Yes.
Also known as the hip flip. And it's an issue that stems from another platform, a couple other platforms, I believe. So correct me if I'm wrong. And usually when you import a model that has the hip bone flipped, it doesn't bode very well with the creation and setup of that avatar. I don't believe this is something that can be fixed necessarily in Neos, but I believe it is an easy fix.
In Blender.
Yes, it is an easy fix in Blender, or, well, I should clarify, any model editing program of your choice.
Now, going off from armatures and bones, naming the bones, kind of going over this, what we said last stream is make sure to name your bones like in a certain way where you can read them. say like if you have upper arm or like biceps or like the proper terms for anatomy, that can work as well too.
Mm-hmm.
Or left upper arm, left lower arm, that also can work too. Neos has a variety of different like naming methods that you can use.
My avatar skeleton is a little bit unconventional. Let's use yours as a good example of naming the bones. Let's see. So, as a basis, Neos supports a handful of different names for each of the bones. For instance, the hips can either be hips or pelvis. Spine can be spine with a number after it, or I think that's only spine. The chest can be chest or another spine, neck, head, etc.
And if you have multiple bones as well that have like say extra like weighting, because I know some characters do have that to fix weight painting issues. If you name them properly, make sure that Neos won't get confused with those extra. For example, the feathers as well. It ignores that. Same with any chest bones. I know some of the Palmeo avatars have extra chest bones for like making sure that the arms don't get scrunched up.
I believe on the Neos wiki we have a page specifically set up for detailing what named bones or what names the bones are that Neos supports, as well as a blend file, a skeleton that you can download and refer to while you're making your model. In this case, we have here, this is the left shoulder. That can either be shoulder or clavicle. Upper arm is upper arm. Lower arm can be lower arm or forearm, and the hand can be hand or wrist.
And like where it's like has the R or L right next to it, you can have it on either side. You can say like left or right, and it can be capitalized or lowercase. It's very generalized. Hell, it's even translated in a couple of languages, I know.
Yes, it is.
Frooks had people submit like avatars that have different bone names. Actually, you can even
and
a better way
if
of
you
seeing
do
this.
if you do discover a bone name that is commonly used as some form of a standard that Neos doesn't support, let us know through a GitHub issue or otherwise, and we can start supporting that. We have an interesting question from Gun Griffin, actually. Does the spine need to be straight or an S-bend in resting pose? I would say either, but I generally have better luck with a straight spine. The spine in my avatar is slightly curved, but I think it would end up better with the IK if it was perfectly straight. Why are you T-posing?
I don't know.
We also have a wraith behind us.
Do we? Yes, we do.
Yeah, I spawned that one out so you could look at the bone structure of the Rex, because it is slightly different, if I recall correctly.
Well, let's take a look.
Actually, isn't there a...
Oops.
Yeah, there is a way to showcase a bone rig, isn't there?
Yes, at least the visual.
Debug visuals?
I'll scroll down.
That isn't. Rig. Generate debug visuals.
There.
There
That
we
button
go.
on the root of the avatar. This shows you little spheres and lines showing you how all the bones are connected in an avatar. And you can see this spine has a slight curve to it, but that doesn't necessarily affect the performance of the avatar very much. And we can see, Neos does allow you to have, say, multiple spine bones except for just one. It will only use one in the IK, and the rest will just be straight and uncontrolled, but it won't break the avatar. I have 6 spine bones, and it's only using, I think, the 2 that are utilized on the IK. And this avatar, let's take a look. We have the hips, spine, chest, neck. Yes, that's pretty standard, where you have one spine bone, one chest bone. But in regards to names, those are all documented on the wiki, and there, as I had mentioned prior, there is also a blend file that you can get. I think it's a blend file, and it has a base skeleton that you can refer to get the names from. Let's see.
Another topic that we can segue into is fingers and how the bone structure can vary. So we'll keep this as an example because it has all 5 fingers. And the first thing I want to point out is that depending on how the avatar is set up, sometimes they have like these extra bones inside the hand. We do have them. But like their common term is metacarpals. And it's like a bone that's within the palm of your hand. So if you think that your fingers are just having bones right here and one big bone here, no, actually. There's actually like another bone inside the hand right there. And if you actually move your fingers, you can actually see, I even have it right here too. You can even see in real life too that that's how your knuckles kind of move up and down within it. So,
now, metacarpals are not entirely required to have proper finger setups, but they are nice if you are especially going to be using hand tracking and you want extra little bit of realism. But Neos supports a minimum of, I believe, 3 fingers, which is a thumb, an index finger, and one other finger, like me, and a standard maximum of 5 fingers, as we can see on the Rex. You can have 2, you can have 3 fingers, 4 fingers, 5 fingers, and if you're clever, you can have more, but of course, you only have 5 fingers in real life, so you can only control up to 5. In terms of how many bones per finger, you can have all 3 bones, as we can see here, or you can have 2 finger segments, and I believe only 1. Neos will try and use various heuristics and the positions of the bones to figure out which finger is which. The names of the bones also help as well. Generally, I name the finger bones thumb, index, middle, ring, and pinky, but there are a few alternate names for some of these fingers as well.
So we have a question here inside of chat before from Seeker saying, can you show us how to bake your blend shapes you don't want / use properly?
Good opportunity to use this model as well.
Yes.
So, it's similar to baking like a model in the first place. So, I will open up the chest, bone, and navigate all the way up to the base model. Clicking the root, and in this case, finding the body. Now, scroll down, find all the different blend shapes.
Which this one has a lot.
Yeah, it does. And you scroll all the way to all these different pieces right here. You'll see a lot of them are very similar to like other types of settings for models in general, but it has some extra ones, and it doesn't share some either. So, right here. So you can either strip empty blend shapes. This is pretty good if you either accidentally add one, or if you have blend shapes that do not have any data inside it. It doesn't do anything. You can also strip empty bones. So if you have any bones that are not weighted to any part of the body, you can just also use that too. It's extremely useful for getting rid of like extra bones you don't want on an avatar. But right here is baking non-driven blend shapes. So if I click that, this may take a bit, but it will bake every single blend shape except for the ones that are being used.
Now, do note when you're doing this, you want to make sure, and if there's blend shapes that you want to preserve from this operation, make sure that you're driving them in some manner.
Yes.
Be that just something is controlling this value, meaning that the blend shapes that you want to preserve are pink like this. Otherwise, they'll be baked in.
I also highly recommend having say if it's an avatar that has so much different customization with blend shapes, saving a copy with everything in case you ever want to like change it, and then having an optimized version that you wear day to day, the stuff that you want to use.
Because generally, the less blend shapes you have on a model, the more performant it becomes.
Exactly.
And
that means it wants simply less data.
Seeker mentions, so if I wanted to keep a selection of blend shapes, I can temporarily drive the ones I want to keep, hit the button, and remove the ones I drove. Yes, that is exactly how you can preserve blend shapes that you might not necessarily want to drive, but you still want available to you after this merger.
Now, thinking about how to quickly do that, I think I got a good idea of how to do it. So I'm going to just take an empty object here and add relation, go into relations here, go to value multi-driver, let that load for a little bit, and I find float. And then what this does is I can just add a huge list and drag and drop each individual one into there. So actually, I'll use myself as an example then, since I picked the blend shapes on that one. There. So let's just take the first one there. Eyes closed. So, yep. And then you can just drag and drop each individual one there, and it'll be driven. So you got eyes closed now being driven by this. So, and then when you're done, you can just delete the object or delete the component. It's good to go.
While we're on the topic of blend shapes, actually, there is one component that I would like to draw attention to that I think might also be helpful for this, but just be useful in general. And that is I believe it is under transform drivers. What is it called? Dynamic blend shape driver.
Oh.
What this does, this gives you a renderer, and you can add in a list of blend shapes. You can refer to them by name, and it will automatically assign these blend shape targets by the name, and then you can control them from here. This is useful if you have an avatar or a set of avatars that share the same blend shape names, but you want the drives of these blend shapes to be more dynamic. So say you have a set of blend shapes or a set of customization options between avatars that you want to quickly port from one to the other. You put all of your customization options in here, and then you can just apply it to the new avatar and set update blend shape targets. There you go.
Never knew about that one tonight.
You're welcome.
This is extremely relevant too. Yeah, that's more advanced, but it's definitely, well, the kind of topics we're going to be covering, or we are covering.
We actually do have an interesting question from Mastermind 176. One question in regards to blend shapes: is it possible to drive a blend shape at 1 or 0 as opposed to the gradient in between, as in no decimals? Yes. One easy way to do that, if you don't want to interpolate, there's a couple actually, and I can demonstrate this here actually. So one way, if you're wanting to go between two values, there's a component for that. Transform drivers. And we can use a Boolean value driver, in this case of type float. And let's set our true value to 1. And I'll just use this value up here as a demonstration. So now, when you want the blend shape to be 1 or 0, you just check the bool and it will swap between 0 or 1 like that. And even though it is a float, it can have in-between values, but since we're only switching between 0 and 1, it essentially acts like an integer value. And another means to do this is with a value gradient driver set to not interpolate. And I will get ourselves a value gradient driver of type float. Let's get 2 values. And And let's drive this one here. Now I will also uncheck interpolate. Now this gives you an analog input, a value between 0 and 1, but it's anything in between. But once it reaches 1, as you can see, this value is fluid, but up here the value we're driving it triggers at this point. So say we move all the way down here, then depending on where this is, it will either be one or the other. This is actually, I use it for quite a few things. It's very handy.
Funny enough, you can use this for booleans as well. Like, at this point it turns on, at this point it turns off, turns on, so on and so forth. It's like a animation timeline. Then kind of going back to, you have multiple value gradient drivers. A good way of combining them all into one kind of float is going to relations, value multi-driver, then float, and then you just load up the list of gradient drivers into one.
I'll do that as an example. I'll drag some of these values here, like so. And now this controls all of them. And Svecken, I think that's how you say their name. Apologies. Mentions that Logix has a neat little 0-1 node. Yes, and that node takes a Boolean value, true or false, and turns it to a float value, 0 or 1.
It is under operators. And it's right here. So
0, 1.
we can just take this. False, true.
I use this node all the time, actually, for more than just binary things, but also for multiplying and adding values together and doing all sorts of things. Very handy node.
Yes.
Sedokun asks, in specific to the dynamic blend shape driver, how do you link the dynamic driver to the avatar? Well, we have a renderer here, and this takes in, if we go back to this avatar here, and scroll all the way to the top, we have a skinned mesh renderer. Take the skinned mesh renderer itself, I believe, and place it under renderer. Boop, it places there. Then if we give it some blend shape names, which, I mean, all of these are driven on this avatar, so this is not generally the best case, but let's say blink_L. Blink_L. Then if this value wasn't already driven, you could click Update Blend Shape Targets, it would place it here, and then start driving it from this value. And then if you simply drag another skinned mesh renderer in here and click Update Blend Shape Targets, then it will work on that avatar or that mesh as well. Do note that this works on more than just avatars. It works generally on skinned mesh renderers, which means it's just a mesh that is controlled by bones and has blend shapes. So you can use this on objects as well. Well, it needs blend shapes. Oh, that's a box.
I'm just adding an object to it so that people can take a look at it.
Just unlinked all the blend shapes, by the way, for the face, so you should be able to work on those now.
Well, look, we have some blend shapes we can work with. I'm going to get myself another inspector window here so I don't interrupt you.
Yeah, I'm pretty much... Oh wait, I just need to add a grabbable.
So, as a nice example of this, we already have this skinned mesh renderer linked, and we want to control this blend shape here, which is... Oop, that's in all caps. Lip... track tongue down, and you can see as soon as I finish typing the name, it automatically set up its drive, and it's being controlled by this here. And if I update it here, which I believe, yes, update blend shape targets, then it controls it. Although interestingly, it's not. Oh, it's because it's enabled.
Yeah, sorry about the
let's get rid of
alarm. It's been under my bed for many years and it still goes off, and
there we go.
Can't be bothered to crawl underneath there.
Very useful if you need dynamic blend shape driving between various objects. Okay. But I think this covers a majority of blend shapes and bone names and such. There are resources available to you on the wiki as well. And I do recommend checking that out. Or coming visit this world afterwards if you have any questions. But I feel the last major topic that we can cover here before we go into general questions is gestures, gesture systems, emoticons and such.
So, in Neos, natively, there isn't a sort of generalized system. It's a matter of, as like Rayuvi was showing, different driven blend shapes or events that will be done via components or logics. That's essentially how Neos does it. Is you take these different components and make them do something on the avatar. Say if you press like a button on your controller and it, say, makes a face on your avatar or makes a sound or shoots off a particle or so.
Now, the Neos community has created a handful of various gesture systems that you can use and set up on your avatar, but generally there is no official or deeply integrated gesture system, and instead it's up to the community to make their own and provide it, or you can, using the tools that Neos has available to you, you can make your own system as well and control your gestures in any way you like via button presses or a context menu item or something else. And in general, that what that really boils down to is, on your avatar, you take the blend shapes that you want to move and you drive them in some manner, like how we have here. We're driving this blend shape using the dynamic blend shape driver, and we can control it with a value. But you might want to control a gesture based on whether your head's looking up or if your left hand is in a fist. It really is entirely up to you. But a good place to start is definitely the ones that the community has made available, which I'm not entirely well versed on those, but they are out there.
Though one thing you could do is, wait, is there video on this on YouTube?
I don't know. I don't know if Prime or the others have made a video on context menu items yet. I think they may have. If not,
I know
that's
there's
a thing that we could
Prime,
cover.
I know Prime has. I know we covered these before in general, and I know Prime has covered these, but this is also a good way of making emotes as well, is by adding like a sub menu where you can have different toggles for. Well, nice.
We've been given a great example of an expression editor. This was made by Runium and Kazu, and it allows you to select your avatar and set up various gestures, among other things. Something I've never used, so I'm not the best at liberty to explain it, but tools like this are available, and some are very well made, I must admit. And while we look at this, I have a question that could be answered. Gun Griffin asks, how is the shoulder bone best oriented? I usually have mine follow the collarbone, but it turns out it only rotates axially, which messes up my reach when at an angle. The clavicle or shoulder bone is kind of an interesting bone in the IK right now. It tends to only really roll around its axis. So generally I have it following the arm axis or at a slight forward or slight backwards angle following the actual collarbone. But from my experience, either kind of yields the same or almost the same results.
Another example, that system actually is quite easy to use. I can actually show you how this works.
That would be great.
So what we do is I need a tooltip. So I'll need to get mine out wherever it is. Essential tools and my dev tip. Oh, it actually does it automatically. You just press set up and select your avatar, and that gives me my avatar automatically. And now you can see here all the gestures that you can do with your hand. So, for example, you've got fist, which is closing your hand. So what I'll do is I'll use my fist, and I'll go select my slot, which is body. And that's come up with all my blend shapes now for this avatar. So what I'll do is... Oh, no, I don't want you. If I scroll down and I'll use, say, I don't know, Wink, Sad Eyes. I'll put Sad Eyes here into the fist. Now, if I remember correctly, once I make a fist, if I can remember how to do... There you go. As you can see, when I'm making the fist, my eyes are going sad now.
Oh, don't be sad.
I could make it so when I point at someone, something happens, like... Oh, let's see. Handgun. We'll have the handgun do me the eye dizzy. Now, I can't remember how handgun is. There we go. You can see now my eyes have changed. So all I'm doing is making the hand gesture like that, and it's changing the blend shape. This is a very simple system. You can find it in Renium's public folder, which is under JP Publics. And, you know, you can literally change the sensitivity. Your primary hand as well. So now that's now on my right hand for my gestures. Or I can have it on my left hand. So as you can see now, when I'm making the gun, that's not happening. But if I do it on that hand, it does happen.
I also found the same tool you're using in Neo or Essential Tools.
Oh,
it's
cool.
under JP Tools, and it's one of the first things in there.
But you've also got other things
row.
here, like hand sign index. So that's given me all the stuff here for an index controller down there. So what I could do is get rid of these. And another nice one here is if you've got a Vive facial tracker, there's actually a thing here called Vive facial tracker, which is added. This is all the stuff that you could do with a Vive facial tracker, like smile, tongue out, and all that. And that will actually allow you to put that one as well to it. And you've got multi-drivers, Windows Mixed Reality, Vive, Touch, Index, and even Lip Sync as well. Which obviously is more of a different thing, but yeah. Now my eyes are stuck in a perpetual confused mode. But there we go. That's setting them up using a tool.
Mm-hmm.
As I say, tool assisted stuff can be very handy, especially if you're not au fait with Logix. But if you want to do more advanced systems, you are going to have to use Logix or components, ideally, for that. Like, say, I don't know, I want to press my trackpad down and I want like 5 things to happen or something, or say I want to do a gesture, that's going to have to be done with Logix, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. I guess actually a small example of that is I have it so that when and this is totally custom made by me, something you can do with Logix and components, I have it so that when I widen my eyes, my ears go up. And if I close them, they go down. Example.
Yeah, but that's another example. I mean, it takes me a bit with my face, but, when I do...
Oh.
When I open my mouth and pull my eyes a bit, it actually changes... So yeah. If anyone's got any quick questions on that one, we can go over it. Can you demonstrate setting up a Logix system using only components? That'd be interesting. Zangoose, I don't know how this tool grabs the blend shapes, but what you could do, this is Neos. You could just unpack this and have a look. You could look at its Logix.
Yeah, you can reverse engineer it.
Exactly, and that's always one of the best learning tools in Neos, is just to reverse engineer stuff. That's how we learn. Well, that's how I learn. Reverse engineering nearly everything Ryuvi gives me.
Yep. So we're getting pretty close to the stream being over, you guys. Is there any other topics that we missed out on the list, just to get them kind of inside of here?
Well, in terms of the main topics that we wanted to go over, we covered just about everything.
Everything? Okay, cool. So take this opportunity to keep asking more questions, you guys. We'll be still answering them in the next 8 minutes, and then by then we'll be going back to our table.
Now it's time to ask questions. We answer the questions. Although I guess we could ask the questions.
There is one...
Linker did say something good there. Be careful with some stuff. as it's better with logics over components due to some stuff having issues syncing with the host.
Yes, and if I've seen a general consensus that people think that components generally are more performant and optimized than logics, when really they're basically the same. If you look at a Logix node, if you look at a Logix node in an inspector, it's a component.
It's apples and oranges, really.
Yes, and there are some things that you can do with Logix that you can't do with components, like some mathematical operators and such. So personally, I would say don't fear from dipping into Logix.
Yeah.
I was going to say the best way to use it is a mix of the both, I've found. Because as I say, especially, and you know what I'm talking about when I talk about doing WebSocket stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That does need component and logics, really.
Yeah.
Yep.
And to answer Coffee Shop's question, currently we're focused on PC VR. So unless PlayStation VR has a thing where you can set up on PC, we probably won't be supporting it.
WebSockets aren't paying, Linker. WebSockets are beautiful.
That's what my heart rate information is coming from.
Yeah, exactly.
So Martin asks, from which one is good to start as a newbie, wiki, or tutorial videos? So I think they're asking which should they go for, wiki or tutorial vids?
That's a matter of personal preference, really. How do you like learning? Do you want to read or do you want to watch?
I personally prefer Prime's videos, probable Prime's videos. That's a fantastic resource, but sometimes I just want to read a list, and the wiki's great for that too.
Yeah, I will definitely +1 there on probable Prime's videos. I'm more of a visual learner, so I really don't do very well with reading things and learning that way. So I prefer to watch videos. That's one of the reasons why I like doing these tutorials.
And then do wiki. I would say start with videos, then do wiki if you're brand new.
Yeah.
There's also the
Aegis.
mentors.
Yeah, there is the mentors as well. Yes, you can always ask for mentor help in our Neos Discord, in the main Discord. Just do @mentor or whatever. Just ping them. And they can come help you out as well.
Which that shows the best part about Neos is that you can do stuff together. You don't have to do it all separate. Like, all of us can see the same inspector, we can all see the same UI, and we can work together with that. That's what makes Neos so powerful.
Yeah, collaborative work is amazing. Who do we have here?
We have a Frooks.
It's a Frooks! But yeah, there is other ways to learn. As I say, if you could even add our Discord in our help section in there as well. People are more than happy to help. You could just run into a session and go, quick, hi, I need some help. Can you help me with this? And 9 times out of 10, someone's going to pull out a dev tip and hit you in the face with it.
Oh, we have a quick detour to Frooks.
The yellow dog man.
Hello, Frooks. Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
It's the lemon.
The lemon.
But yeah, there is loads of resources, and as I say, we're hoping to try and cover everything we can with Neos in the workshops over time. And I'm gonna, I will say this, with regards to Probable Prime's videos, some of his videos now are quite outdated. So, we would like to sort of refresh those videos that he's done in the workshop as well.
Yes.
So then they're more up to date.
And don't forget, if you have any suggestions for future Workshop Wednesday streams or things that you think that would be good information for you and the general community to learn, we have a feedback form. Please submit your suggestions there.
Yeah, that is in, I believe that's in Welcome and Links, actually.
Yes.
Neos should beat Meta. It's already beating Meta. Do you know how I will say that Neos is better than Meta? Look at those that Ryuvi's got.
Oh, right. The
legs!
Legs.
We have legs!
Is that what we should just put on our advertising now for Neos? Is we got legs.
Legs.
Neos VR. Legs. We have legs.
Yeah. that
One
is
thing I
absolutely
did
right.
remember that we forgot to mention, and it was about naming. Blend shape naming.
Yes. A quick.
It is also... is that covered on Wiki as well?
I believe so, but a quick aside back to blend shape names in specific. Actually, if we take a look over here on this inspector, Neos does also support a bunch of different blend shape names for various things, like the Visemes, which are these up here at the top. The Visemes have a general naming standard, but as long as you follow that, it will work. Neos also supports a bunch of different naming heuristic types and such for eye and face tracking. But as long as your blend shapes are named even remotely close to what they are, like left eye blink, or tongue down, or mouth open, or jaw open, Neos will support those and it will work. However, even if Neos doesn't automatically detect your blend shapes, you can, of course, go in and manually set them up, to have them work.
Yeah, it's very helpful if you use the standard blend shape naming, especially, if you want the heuristics to work out your lip tracking, for example.
Yes.
And for like the lip tracking as well, some people have made... I know Gearbell has made a blend shape or shape key list that you can go by to make different blend shapes.
I think that is actually on
Name
our
them.
wiki, I think that image is, I believe.
Is it?
I think. Don't
It
quote me on
isn't, it
that.
should be.
Well, if not, it is in the pinned messages in the tutorials channel on our main Discord as well.
Yes.
Cool. Well, I think that covers everything for our part 2 here for avatars. Why don't we head back
Yep.
over to the main desk?
Time for the desk job again.
Does.
Come on, Fruits. Come join us behind the desk.
Yeah, Fergus, be on here with us.
Why do we have 2 Twitch chats now, Aegis?
I deleted one.
But yeah, hopefully you guys learned something from today's stream. There was a lot that was covered to help you guys to improve your avatar experience, as well as I think it was really important to show off how you can set up blend shapes very easily and how you can control them with your hand. And also
Put you over a bit, Ryvy.
visualizing bones and learning more about that. So hopefully you guys learned something today, and hopefully we
Move
answered all
over
your
a
guys'
bit.
questions as well.
Moving over a bit.
There's more of us behind the desk than usual. Next can't have as much room now.
Yeah. But everyone who's watching today, I also want to remind you, this Friday's stream is going to be a really special one. We're going to be having Medra on stream, and we're going to be going through a whole bunch of really cool MMC worlds, as well as just generally talking about it after, I believe, the voting is going to be done at a specific date. But we're just going to be going through it and showing off all the amazing content that you guys have built out from last month. So please be sure to join us for that very special stream.
Yep. We do have another question here, actually, from Player Code. Kind of late to the stream, I was going to ask if it's possible to add an eye patch/glass lens to act as a magnifying glass. Or like a bionic eye to zoom in or out. That
have seen
is
this before.
something to do with accessories
And cameras.
and cameras.
Or portals, depending on which way you want to do it.
Yeah,
I
is
think that would be
possible.
a really good topic to teach about, is like portals, cameras, and all that kind of
well,
thing.
we do want to do one on the stream camera anyway, and how cameras work in general in Neos. So that's going to require quite a bit from your end next as well, to show people how to use the stream camera.
I'll be teaching that tutorial because I'll have to be showing off my main UI, and then I'll show you guys one at a time how you can also do streams like this, and you can probably even start your own Twitch channel, or even make YouTube videos learning from the resources of how to use the streamer camera.
Oh, by the way, I'm just going to note this, actually. If you stream Neos regularly, hit me up on Discord, by the way. We can actually put you on our auto-follow system, so you get automatically hosted by our Twitch channel when we're offline.
Nice.
Absolutely. Well, thank you again so much for watching the stream, you guys. We're going to be heading off now, and you guys have an amazing rest of your day.
I've got nowhere to send you, so...
Okay. Bye, everyone.
Goodbye.
Bye.
I will see you Friday.
Bye.
Oh, by the way, just before we end, I just want to note one thing. We're on a break next week.
Yes.
Yep.
So the workshop will return in 2 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds good to
See
me.
you then.
Bye, everyone.
Yep.